Mombasa Block 17, parcel number 54, parcel number 219, and parcel number 232.
That's extra because we were dealing with the parcels that are listed there from parcel number
Bondeni is there.
Yes.
Bondeni is there. 54 is there.
We have Kisauni. We have Bondeni. We have Mwembe Kuku. We have Kashani.
We had written to the ministry also to get documents of those, copies of those documents.
Honorable Chair, okay, I don't know, the records we can supply,
Yes.
but the question is talking again about violations and land injustices. Utilize the findings of the investigation to formulate lasting solution. Possibly we can provide the documents. Once you have the documents, you can tell us whether we need to do anything else. Because you are asking us to undertake comprehensive analysis to define the specific challenges faced by coastal communities. That's a very large issue, and then make recommendations for the legal recognition of petitioners' tenancy in this land. Maybe that one we can give you our opinion. Recommend mechanisms that allow petitioners to directly pay taxes.
You know, the issue that the petitioners raised in Mombasa was that at the time of adjudication,
yes,
and this is specific to a place called Mwembe Tayari, Mwembe Kuku area, and Bondeni, the land was registered in the name of the Liwali at that time. Liwali was equivalent to a governor or a county commissioner at that time. So when the registration was being done, the land was registered in the name of the Liwali by virtue of his office. Now, when he died, the family now proceeded to do a succession. For instance, William Ruto was the President of the Republic of Kenya.
Maybe you use something else, somebody else.
Okay. No, okay.
Maybe you can use
Senator
Alice Wahome.
Okay. Alice Wahome. Yes. No, I'll use my own.
Yes.
Mohammed Faki, Senator of Mombasa,
yes,
is registered as a proprietor of Parcel X. So upon my demise, that registration is by virtue of my office as a senator, but not my personal property. So upon the demise of the Liwali, the family now took over and did the succession, and the land was registered now in their personal names. In this case now, they made a waqf, which is called Safe Bin Salim Waqf. And now they are charging these people rent, and after charging the rent now, they say now collecting rent is no longer economical. So they have done subdivisions and proceeded now to sell to the people at about 3 million, 5 million, yeah, in some cases even 10 million per plot within the island. I'll give an example. If you go to Mbarak area, there are several sports clubs which belong to institutions. Mombasa Sports Club is there, Goan Community, many others. There was one which was set aside for the Muslim community. Now, upon the demise of the Liwali, it was now inherited by the family. The children took over, and then when the children took over, now some sold to other parties. They sold their undivided shares, okay? But when the community realized, they resisted this because they knew that originally this was their land which was reserved for sports club. The whole of that area is reserved for sports institution. So what they are saying about this Mwembekuku and Bonden is that this land was their land, and at that particular time the adjudication could not be done because it was being registered as what we call a native reserve. You have one title for the whole land, and those people will be now paying for contributions for payment of rates, but not actually paying land rent to the person who is holding the title. So as a result of that, now they have been dispossessed, and they are no longer secure because the families are saying you either pay 5 million or you move out with your structure. And that is the gist of their petition in regards to the Mombasa land petitions on historical injustices. Yes.
I understand, and I think it's a clear case of dispossession because if we go by what you have stated and what they have said here, the Diwali or Liwali was holding the land,
yes,
on behalf of the community,
yes,
the people.
yes.
But upon their demise, the land now has become family land, which was not the intention of this, of the registration or of the ownership. Of course, there was trust before, but now the family members should have basically just left this land in the same, or trust position. Or basically, there is a lot of this in Mombasa. It's not the only in the coast region, and it's a serious case because some of the politicians are also, the leadership is also supporting that kind of dispossession or saying the land belongs to Waqf. And I think there is the community that is being left behind. So this is a matter we can sit down with NLC. I think we may require to sit with NLC and interrogate the activities and the record. Because now you see they will be evicted, either they are evicted, and even paying money. I don't think they should be paying money, in my view. But we need to see the ownership. How was this ownership? Was it individual? Was it family ownership? Was it community? We can't sit down with NLC, and I still believe that NLC have powers to revise this.
Yeah, but they are taking very long because this problem has been there since.
And the case was may have been registered, yes.
Swazuri, then came the second commission. They are yet to deal with it. Because I think if we look at the adjudication records, the initial adjudication records, which must be there in the ministry, that could give a key to the resolution of this problem, whether it was registered in the Liwali as a person,
as a trustee,
or as a trustee for the community. Yes.
Because
I think they are now riding on the issue of the Waqf, but there's no Waqf document. The trust deed that maybe formed the Waqf is not there. Yes, Senator Marumo.
Yeah, I want to agree with you, Chair, that we require really a policy drift in the ongoing land reforms in the coastal region. Let's have a real policy shift, because then, if you look at these titles, we would want to know if they exist in your ministry. The new ones are here. How did they move from this to this? If the people died, then how are we shifting? How are we shifting the land? Who is transferring the land? If it was the land held by the Diwali on behalf of the residents, how is it shifting from here to the new title deeds? I think we need a policy shift, because some of us are really affected. Some of us who have land in Mombasa, we've been paying rent since time immemorial, since I was born up to now. So we really need to, if we can crack this one, Madam CS, then we'll be very happy as coastal people. Yeah. And if I look at part 6, the prayer reads, make a recommendation on provision of clear definitions of terms such as squatters, absentee landlords, who is an absentee landlord, and houses without land within the context of the ongoing coastal land reforms. I think this is a very broad topic that needs really to apply our minds. You can even form a task force. I don't know what the mandate would be, or the people within your ministry can do this, but we need it to be cracked once and for all.
The coast region, I think there are many, I think the problem is elsewhere. It may be more serious in the coast region, but the squatter problem is everywhere. And it's serious, including Nairobi, including Rift Valley. There's a lot of issues. You know, people who were living on the farms, the settlers' farms, they stayed there, they continued, the owners left, the lands are being taken by other people. I think it is a larger problem. It's basically may require, we will look at it in the national policy, land policy, and we are bringing the policy to public participation. So I think these are some of the things that we can engage on, and then after that it will come to Parliament.
You know, Madam CS, there are two issues here. There is the issue of squatters going into somebody's land without his permission. Then there's the issue of the tenant at will, tenancy at will, where I seek your permission that I need a parcel of land to put up a structure where I will be living in. Then you allow me to put up that structure and I pay you a monthly rent. It's a local lease arrangement, similar to the one that the government issues, where you pay a stand premium and then you pay annual rent. But this one now is a local arrangement that is done and which is not registerable, and it has no definite period. So the people have been now paying that rent monthly, but now another person comes in and say, look, I can buy this land. If you subdivide the land, I can buy the portions, maybe at 3 million or 2 million. And the owner of the land feels that collecting 500 shillings per month is very uneconomical. Now I want to sell the land. So you offer it to the tenant at will at 1 million shillings. And this person has been paying that rent for over maybe 40 years. And now he's told, look, you either buy the freehold interest or you move on. Yes, and you have put up a house where you have been living in, maybe it's worth 2 or 3 million shillings. So that one is also likely to displace a lot of people, because many people are on that land tenure system in places like Kisauni, Changamwe, and even within the island and Likoni. So we need maybe the government to come up with a policy where maybe they encourage, they come up with a policy where they encourage the landowners to sell, but maybe at a subsidized price for those who have been there. Alternatively, they convert those unregistered leases into 99 years or 60 years leases, which are now recognizable, so that the person can be able to sell that property to another willing buyer, willing seller. Because let me finish. You know, there was no problem with this issue, this tenure system, but in 2002, when the late President Kibaki came to power, the late Honorable Maitha, who was the MP for Kisauni, had that problem. And on that day, immediately he was sworn in as a minister. he made a declaration that from now on no payment of rent. Hatuwezi kuendelea kulipa kodi indefinitely. And from that time, some have not paid any rent. And yet, the people who own the people who own those freeholds are entitled to some form of compensation. So it's a problem that we need to address and see how best the government can come up with a policy, if in terms of regulations, so that those that form of ownership becomes maybe legally registered. Because even the courts have been grappling with this problem of the house without land.
It's basically a form of lease tenancy, where you decide on what the size, and how much per month. But unfortunately, most of the people don't reduce those agreements into writing. But the courts can always deduce that from the receipt. But also that Kenyans pay their money without receipts. They also don't get receipts. So the problem becomes even more serious. Somebody can even easily say that you have not been paying. So it would be unfortunate if somebody was going to stand and declare that you cannot. And even here in Nairobi, people lease their land, just like the way you lease land which is not yours for crops or for animals. It's the same way you can give somebody to do structures that are not necessarily permanent. In fact, some people are also doing permanent structures, depending on the lease period. The problem is that Kenyans should not accept maybe that to do permanent structures on a lease agreement that is not in writing. Because obviously these people also thereafter, because the one in writing, you are able also to register it against the land, against the title. Also, further, the problem is that some of these also don't have titles. People have not processed their titles. So that you have a lease, you cannot register, and it is completely wrong for anybody to stand in a public baraza or a political podium to say don't pay, because that's basically inciting the public against people. But maybe, as you say, we should, all of us, engage on all those issues. There are also absentee landlords, where the squatters have gone. Where are these people? Why do we continue calling them absentee landlords? Are they there or they are not? Because if they are not there, then we should have policy to deal with that land. How long has somebody been on the land to be able to be entitled? You see, currently the law allows you to be the owner after 12 years. Possibly, but that has to be taken to court. And I think that's also not very easy for most Kenyans to have to go to court to prove adverse possession. Maybe the policy can speak to that when we come. The squatter problem, the policy would be able to speak to that. But also that the other policy issue that we need to deal with is when people are coming to people's land. That's also very common. We are also only seeing, many times Kenyans are seeing only the people who are suffering, they don't have land. But there are also people who are doing this as an enterprise, as an activity to earn money. They move from one land to the other, and they are occupying people's land deliberately. Not that they don't have anywhere to go, but they are also occupying that land. And there is somebody organizing, there are people organizing Kenyans to get into land illegally. And that also is something that the government can be able to deal with during the policy. And Parliament should be part of this debate. And I think we should not encourage a situation where Kenyans are also getting into people's land, and then the next minute they are saying, oh, you are evicting us. In the first place, the land was not yours. If it is government land, it's even understandable. If it was idle. But many times we are seeing that Kenyans are struggling with the people who have just come to your land. They are not even paying. In fact, the case of those who are paying is not so bad. There are those who are not paying, and they have come there to deal with that land as if it is their land. and they will proceed to try and apply for titles. So I think the policy is on the way. We will be doing public participation because now we have a small budget.
Can the government possibly buy that land and give to Mwananchi?
She said earlier that the government doesn't have money at the moment.
The government doesn't have money.
Which Mwananchi? You know. I think and I know the government has a policy to settle people.
Yes.
But I said earlier, we need to be realistic and practical. How many people can the government afford to buy land for and settle? Whatever we are doing is actually like, it's really scratching the surface.
A drop in the ocean.
It's a drop in the ocean. It's scrapping on the surface. Parliament, even right now the budget is not even 3 billion for this year. So, and everywhere, there are people who are saying we don't have land. I don't think it is the easiest thing to do, although we want to give Kenyans hope, but we must realize that we can only do so much. And there are some settlement schemes that we have already issued. I think so far we have how many people? This year our target is to settle about 11,000, I think. Yeah. 14,000, yeah, for this financial year. So you see the number is very small. The people will settle. Last year I think we had 11,000, last financial year. So the number is small. I think the government would be willing, but we must also be practical in terms of how much we can do. Honorable Chair, maybe
Radio 88.2 FM. We are in charge.